Now, let's continue crocheting the body of our long-necked dachshund. We'll start with the first round, which is a magic ring with 6 single crochets. If you're unfamiliar with the magic ring, you can refer to our dedicated tutorial on that. The body itself will have a total of 44 rounds. Let's begin with round 2. Remember, before starting each new round, you need to chain 1 as a turning chain. Wrap the yarn around your left hand. Bring the hook under the yarn so it's positioned above the strand. Hook the yarn from behind and pull it through the loop. And that's it, 1 chain stitch. For round 2, the pattern is a combination of 1 single crochet and 1 increased stitch, repeated 3 times, giving us a total of 9 stitches. Let's start with the first single crochet. Locate the stitch created by the slip stitch from the previous round. Insert your hook through this stitch so it's positioned below the yarn. Hook the yarn. Pull it through the stitch. And now you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over again and pull through both loops. This completes your first single crochet. As a beginner, I recommend marking your first stitch of each round to help you identify where each round begins and ends. This will prevent any stitch counting errors. Take a stitch marker and insert it through both loops on the side of this first stitch. Next, we'll do an increased stitch in the stitch directly to the left of the one we just completed. An increased stitch means placing 2 single crochets into the same stitch. This helps gradually expand the body of the dachshund. Insert your hook into the next stitch. Bring it below the yarn, hook the yarn, and pull it through, creating 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through both loops. That's the first part of our increased stitch. Without moving to the next stitch, repeat the same steps to crochet another single crochet in the same stitch. You've now completed 1 increased stitch. Starting from the stitch marker, you should see 3 V-shapes, so that completes 1 set of single crochet and single crochet increase. Now, let's do it again together. Move your hook to the next stitch, which is the 3rd stitch in this round. Insert your hook into this stitch. Pass the hook under the yarn, then yarn over from the back and pull the yarn through the stitch. Yarn over once more and pull through both loops on the hook to finish a single crochet. Now move your hook to the next stitch, which is the 4th stitch in this round. Insert your hook into this stitch and pull the yarn through, so there are 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over again and pull through both loops, completing a single crochet. Since we're doing a single crochet increase in this stitch, insert your hook back into the same stitch and complete another single crochet. Next, we'll repeat the 1 single crochet and 1 single crochet increase. 1 more time until we reach 9 stitches for this round. As you reach the last stitch of this round, you should notice 2 empty stitches between the last stitch and the marked first stitch. These are the slip stitch from the previous round and the chain stitch for this round, which is expected. Let's do a quick count. By the end of this round, you should have 9 V stitches. If that count is correct, you're good to move on to the next step. To finish this round, insert your hook through the marked stitch. Remove the stitch marker. Yarn over, and pull it through both the stitch and the loop on your hook, completing a slip stitch. And that's it. You've finished round 2. Now, for rounds 3 through 9, we'll be making 9 single crochet stitches in each round. Let's quickly review the key steps for single crochet. Start each round by chaining 1 stitch as a turning stitch. Insert your first stitch into the marked slip stitch from the previous round. After finishing the first stitch, place a stitch marker to mark the start of the round. Once you've completed the last stitch, count your stitches from the marked point to ensure you have the correct number. When finishing the last stitch with a slip stitch, yarn over and pull through both the stitch and loop on your hook. Following these steps, each round from 3 to 9 should have 9 single crochet stitches. Let's keep going. Now, we're at the last stitch of round 9, and it's time to switch colors for round 10. We'll be changing from brown to green yarn. Changing colors is an important step, so follow along closely. As you work the last stitch in round 9, insert your hook into the stitch and pull up a loop with the brown yarn. You should now have 2 brown loops on your hook. Don't finish this single crochet just yet. We're going to switch colors. Grab your green yarn, hold it in your left hand, and pinch it gently between your middle finger and thumb, making sure the tail end is positioned behind the hook. Next, yarn over with the green yarn and pull it through the 2 brown loops on your hook. And just like that, we've switched colors. Now, the green yarn is on your hook, ready for the next stitches. After changing colors, slip stitch to join at the marked stitch from round 9, finishing off the round. Starting with round 10, we'll be crocheting 9 single crochet stitches. As usual, begin by making 1 chain stitch to act as the turning chain. Now, with our new yarn color, let's go ahead and make the first single crochet, then mark it with a stitch marker. Since we won't be using the brown yarn for a while, grab your scissors and trim it, leaving a small tail. You can tuck the loose ends of the brown and green yarn inside the body using your hook. This will keep everything neat as we continue. For round 10, continue using the green yarn to make 9 single crochet stitches to complete the round. In round 11, we'll again crochet 9 single crochet stitches. But when we get to round 12, it's time to switch colors to red yarn. So, as you're working the last single crochet of round 11, stop halfway through when you have 2 green loops on your hook, because we're going to switch to red. Take your red yarn, hold it between your middle finger and thumb, with the tail end positioned behind the hook. Yarn over with the red yarn and pull it through both green loops on the hook. That's it. You've successfully switched colors. Now, to complete round 11, connect back to the stitch marker with a slip stitch. And that's it, round 11 is complete. For round 12, we'll be using red yarn. Start by making a turning chain, then work the first single crochet stitch. Don't forget to mark this first stitch with a stitch marker. There's no need to cut the green yarn after this round, as we'll be switching back to the green yarn after 2 more rounds. Continue by making 8 more single crochets, for a total of 9 stitches in this round. To finish, slip stitch into the stitch marker to complete round 12. Moving on to round 13, we'll crochet 9 single crochets again. When you reach the last single crochet of the round, stop halfway right when you have 2 red loops on your hook, because we'll be switching back to green yarn. Drop the red yarn, pick up the green yarn, and wrap it over your hook. Pull it through both red loops to complete the color change. Then, to finish round 13, slip stitch into the stitch marker. For rounds 14 through 37, we'll continue following the same process, alternating colors every 2 rounds between red and green. Each time we change colors, follow the same steps as before. As you go, remember to count your stitches in each round to make sure you have 9 stitches per round. Keep crocheting steadily up to round 37, and make sure you don't miss any stitches along the way. As we reach round 37, you can see that most of our dachshund's body is now complete. At this point, we should still be working with the red yarn. Let's finish round 37 by crocheting 9 single crochets, just as we've done in previous rounds. When you get to the last single crochet, stop halfway with 2 red loops on your hook. We're preparing for a color change. Now, grab the original brown yarn. Hold it with your left hand, position it behind the hook, and pull it through both red loops to complete the color change. Then, insert your hook into the marked stitch, yarn over, and slip stitch to finish round 37. Now we're ready to start round 38. Begin with a turning chain. Then find the slip stitch from the previous round and insert your hook there to make the first single crochet. Mark this stitch with a stitch marker. For the remaining rounds 38 through 43, we'll be using only the brown yarn. At this point, you can go ahead and cut the red and green yarn, leaving short tails. Tuck these yarn ends inside the body with the back of your hook to keep it neat and out of the way. Continue round 38 by crocheting 8 more single crochets, for a total of 9 stitches in the round. For rounds 38 to 43, the pattern remains the same. Work 9 single crochets in each round, starting each round with a turning chain and marking the first stitch with a stitch marker. At the end of each round, slip stitch into the marked stitch to close the round. Keep going until you complete round 43, making sure to keep your stitch count consistent at 9 stitches per round. We finally reached the round of the dachshund's body, round 44. Start by chaining 1 for a turning chain, then work 9 single crochets around. When you reach the last stitch, finish it with a slip stitch, and then make 1 final chain stitch. At this point, pull out about 20 centimeters, or around 8 inches, of yarn. We'll leave this yarn tail for sewing the body to the dachshund's head laid on. Take your scissors and cut the yarn connected to the skein, then pull the yarn tail through the last stitch to secure it. And there you have it. The body of our long-necked dachshund is now complete.